answer.
Yes.
For a new year, new pantry.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
New year, new pants.
New
pantry.
New pants.
New pantry. All right, so this is how we do it. I actually love doing this.
All right.
So what we do is you get everything out of your pantry and you put it on your kitchen table or your counter.
I've done that.
Now, I did it this morning.
I have pictures of prove it. Go ahead.
Great. So I did it this morning, Mark, in this kitchen. Let's take a look. So I got everything out and I divided it into 3 different piles. All right, pile number 1 is items that I use just once or twice a day. Pile number 2 is items that I use once or twice a month. And pile number 3 is items that I use once or twice a year.
Ma, you had a lot of coffee before you did that. You went fast.
Debbie, it's true, I did. Now, as you can see, the reason why I have these very useful piles, Debbie, here, is because it really will prevent you from having to reach through all that clutter to get to the items that you use every single day. So it's a very useful thing to do. Now, the next step, very important, is that you're going to get rid of things that are past their use-by date, correct? You're going to toss those items. It's a good feeling having that purge. But some of the items may not have a use-by date.
Then what do you do, Sophie?
So what you do is tip number 1, you use your nose. Because if you take things like herbs and spices that oftentimes may not have a date on them, you smell them if they're still pungent and potent.
Oh,
it means,
it's lovely. Is that turmeric?
It means...
No, cumin.
Cumin. It means that it's still good.
Wow.
So you use your nose.
Cumin.
The other thing is use your eyes. Because if things like... I found this in my pantry. It's separated.
yeah.
Can we get in nice and close to that? Can you see how it's separated?
Yes.
It's a fish, sort of Chinese sauce.
No.
Anyway, obviously, that's got to go, right?
Okay.
You can't shake it up and
shake it?
Yeah.
No, because by the time, if it's separated, it means that it's going bad, Mark. It means it's going bad.
Okay.
Right.
So now, after we have all of this, the yearly whatever, and the stuff is gone.
Now it's healthy swap outs.
Because I threw. Okay, that's what we're
Are
on to.
you ready for healthy swap outs?
Yes.
This is where it gets really exciting. All right. Now, healthy swap outs. Let's talk about white flour. All right. White flour is not nutritious, spikes your blood sugar. Let's make a change. Let's ditch it. These are flours that I love. Sprouted grain flour, excuse me, is more digestible, highly nutritious. Then we have quinoa flour, very high in protein. All right, great if you're on a gluten-free diet.
Okay.
Finally, we have teff flour. Now, teff is the new quinoa. Can we all say that together? Teff is the new quinoa of 2015.
I'm 7 years old again.
Now, you know, teff is actually a really healthy grain. It has significant amounts of calcium in it. It's nutty, it's gluten-free.
Can you bake with this?
Yeah, all of these are to bake with.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're great for gluten-free.
Okay.
Now we're going to move on to grains. When we think of grains, I want you to think outside of the box, all right?
Outside of this box?
Yes,
No, okay.
outside of this box.
That's why they're in bags.
So typically when we think of a grain, we think of rice. Oh, just a little thing here. How long do you think you can store white rice for?
1 year.
Years.
4 to 6 years. How long do you think you can store brown rice for?
10 years.
No, 4 to 5 months. Because it goes rancid, because it has a lot of oil in it. So here are the grains. Let's look at the grains. We have a quinoa grain. It either comes in a grain or a pasta, great rice alternative. We have here a millet grain. I love millet grain. It's the feel-good grain. It releases serotonin in your brain. Really? So you can make a quinoa, a millet porridge or a pilaf. Sure. And then finally, we have amaranth, which means everlasting youth and beauty. Amaranth grain. It comes from the fruit of a plant, and it's beautiful.
You know, my parents were going to name me.
I'll make fritters or croquettes with it.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Wait.
Quinoa.
Wait.
Sorry?
What can you
Oh, that you can use as a grain of rice or croquettes or little burgers or all sorts of things.
You put it in as a filler?
Yeah, you can put it as a filler.
All right.
Yes.
And what's last?
And then finally, we have condiments. Now, condiments, you have to be very careful. A lot of condiments can be full of sodium and sugar.
They are.
So instead of salt, why not use herbamere? This is made of dried herbs and dehydrated vegetables, very tasty, sodium-free. Gomasio. Now, gomasio is made out of black sesame seeds, and these have an incredibly high amount of minerals, all right? Then we have, in place of your soy sauce, which has a lot of sodium, we have Bragg's liquid aminos. This is a protein, very high in protein. And finally, we have nutritional yeast, arguably my favorite.
What is nutritional yeast? Because everybody's using it now.
It is
Why?
what it is. It's very, very tasty. I actually wish you could taste
Well,
it.
What do you use it
But
for?
what it is,
It's yeast that's
you
nutritional.
use it actually in
What did you
place
say?
of.
I don't believe anything called nutritional yeast could be tasty.
Oh, trust me. And you use this in place of cheese, a Parmesan cheese, as a seasoning on pasta, on vegetables.
All right.
You don't use it
to cook with it,
Lick your
right?
finger and then stick it in there.
We're going to put all this information
Lick your
on our
finger, stick it
website.
in.